This is TWiT.
John writes in to say, okay, I have some weirdness going on with Apple Photos on iPhone and iPad. If I shoot just a ProRAW photo, this doesn't happen with RAW plus JPEG, and then edit it in Apple Photos, something weird happens. While I'm editing the photo, it looks fine, but the moment I hit done, parts of the image seem to light up as though there's a backlight. This happens no matter what edit I make. Even just cropping it very slightly causes this to happen. And then John writes to say that the duck photo demonstrates the issue pretty well. So it's interesting. John had to take a photo of this in order to show the difference. The first one is before, and then whenever, that might be after. Okay, yeah. So the one before is before, and then the one that we're looking at second is after. And you can see parts of the photo have lit up. And so John is going, what the heck is going on here? It looks as though something has made a rough selection around the duck and brightened it poorly. Now, the really weird thing is that this only happens when I display this image full screen. When you view the grid of images, it looks like the top one. Also, if you export the image, it looks like the top one. It only looks like the bottom one when you view it full screen on the iPad or the iPhone and only in Apple Photos. The reason I took these pictures of the iPad screen is because if you do a screen capture, it looks like the top one. John, very smart of you to take a photo to be able to see what's going on here, and I'm very happy to tell you what is happening. A ProRAW photo is a very special kind of photo that combines a whole bunch of different photos together to create an image that is what Apple sees as kind of capturing as much of the photo as it possibly can. By that, I mean capturing as much of the scene as it possibly can. So it tries to go and grab the highlights of the sky, the shadows of the ground, and everything in between. If you've done any kind of photography, you know that a RAW photo is a favorite of photographers because what happens is the goal of a RAW photo is to take in as much data as possible so that in the post edit you can make adjustments with the more data you have. The idea is that you don't want to clip anything. You don't want some of that data to be lost. And so if you were to take a photo and make some of these adjustments and not use RAW, then sometimes the shadows are going to be blown out, meaning that they've gone kind of all the way to the max, and so some of that detail is lost. With ProRAW, it kind of takes things a step farther by capturing even more data and also trying to present you with a photo that looks good. Now, here is why you're seeing this, and it's only happening on the iPad and the iPhone. This is because Apple's iPhone and iPad have HDR, high dynamic range displays, and in some cases have the necessary brightness values as well, the contrast values as well. When the photo is untouched and it's in that big size, it's showing you the absolute of that photo. It's showing you like what that photo actually looks like with all of the data there. When you hit the edit button, the operating system is going, you're trying to make edits and you are trying to make an edit to the kind of uncollapsed version of that photo. You want to look at that raw data and be able to see that. And so it drops away the changes that it's making as an exported ProRAW. It's just showing you the raw version of the photo, not with everything kind of calculated and figured out, which is what ProRAW is kind of trying to do. So when you hit that edit button, again, it's taking away kind of the magic of the final ProRAW and showing you what you would want to do to make adjustments to it. And the reason, too, why it's not showing it at that small size is because, again, at that small thumbnail size, you're not seeing what is the official kind of complete compressed, and by compressed, I don't mean actually compressed down in size, but layered photo that you get with the ProRAW format. So it seems confusing at first, but that is also why you're not seeing it whenever you do a screenshot, because it is not showing you that final version that it's capable of displaying on your iPhone and your iPad. And that's why sometimes you'll get this happens to me when I take photos at the beach. If I tap that edit button, then suddenly the highlights of the sky drop down and it looks more dulled out. But when I hit that done button, then it goes back to what that final photo looks like. The good news, John, is that you can turn these features off. And so I've included a link in the show notes to the iPhone user guide, which has the ability to adjust HDR camera settings on the iPhone. So you can turn off automatic HDR, and you can also keep the non-HDR version of a photo if you want to make sure that you have both kinds saved. And then you can turn HDR video off if you have that problem with the video as well. Now, let's see. I want to check out what Apple says about ProRAW. So I've got another support document here, which we will link in the show notes, all about Apple's ProRAW settings. So I'm going to read this little excerpt. ProRAW combines the information of a standard RAW format along with iPhone image processing, which gives you more flexibility when editing the exposure, color, and white balance in your photo. With iOS 14.3 or later, your iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max can capture images in ProRAW format using any of its cameras, including when also using the Smart HDR, Deep Fusion, or Night Mode features. You can edit ProRAW photos in the Photos app and other third-party Photos apps. But it's being able to display those features very well in the Photos app, and that's why you're seeing that brightness kind of come through. You can turn off ProRAW as well if you'd like that to not be something that you use. But now that you kind of understand what you're seeing there, why that looks like the backlight is coming on, hopefully that helps you understand what's going on and why it goes away whenever you go through to edit a photo, why it doesn't look like it does whenever you've kind of hit the done button. So all very interesting, but I'm really glad that you asked that question, because I had that happen to me before. I'm going, why is it looking different before and after? So yeah, that's that.